I got you.
Frank, get it.
Hold on.
Come on.
I got it.
Frank.
I don't got it.
No. For goodness sake, just leave me alone. That was a disaster.
Didn't go the way I planned.
Jungle Cruise is a new movie starring Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, and Jack Whitehall, and is based off the Disney attraction The Jungle Cruise ride or something, sort of like how Pirates of the Caribbean was based on a ride and turned into a pretty damn entertaining adventure movie that spawned a big franchise. Now, I don't expect this movie to spawn a big franchise. It sort of acts as a standalone adventure movie, and as a standalone adventure movie, I had a good time with this movie. I think it's perfectly fine for what it's trying to do. It's nothing special. Do not go into this movie expecting something like lightning in a bottle like Pirates of the Caribbean was. This movie's fairly generic and it won't last your attention very long after the credits have rolled, but it did keep me entertained for 2 hours at least, and I think it's a good family movie to watch, and it has some exciting action sequences. Let's get into the movie. And when it comes to movies like this that are released by Disney or made from something else, something of attraction, you always don't expect it to be any good. And I didn't really expect anything from this movie. I didn't really care for the trailers either. The cast looked fine, but I don't know, but the movie is better than it should be to some extent. It is more entertaining, and it does throw in some twists and some decent writing attempts. It does try to have some relatable, fun humor, and being set in the 1900s, it is sort of feels like that very classical Indiana Jones style type of adventure movie. I think a lot of the movie is actually helped by the score as well. The score is quite energetic and quite adventurous, and some of the visuals, even though some of the CG didn't look great, they found a few interesting ways to film action sequences to make them pop a little more on screen. I do have an issue with some of the way the visuals look though. There were some times where everything looked very oversaturated in its color, and it just looked a bit too bright in some sequences. It sort of looked a little fake in its design, but it was only really a small issue. It only really happened in a few scenes, but majority of the way the movie does look good. It looks of high quality, and it has these big high stars in it as well, and I think they do mostly a good job. The Rock is fine in the movie. He's invincible as always, and he sort of provides a very standard performance, and there was some twist really into his character that I did quite enjoy and was quite taken back by. Emily Blunt is good in the movie, once again, like she is in usually her roles, and she plays a fun character on screen. And Jack Whitehall was actually a big surprise, the British comedian. I had no clue he was in this movie, and yeah, he actually provided a fun performance in the movie as a solid side character who was quite annoying at the start of the film, but I later liked his character a bit more. One of my other issues with the film is I think its pacing wasn't quite there in terms of forward momentum. They had this mission they were on, this adventure, this journey, their end goal, and it just felt like they didn't really know how to progress it along the way. There's a few villains involved. Some of them are very cheesy, but I still quite enjoyed them on screen. And then you have these like CGI fantasy monsters sort of people that was sort of one of the weaker aspects of the movie, and that's mainly parts of the story that were intertwined between that I actually did like, and some of the more fantasy elements this movie explores I did also enjoy, but they were easily my least favorite aspects of the movie. I just liked it when they're on the boat, on the adventure, but sometimes it struggled pacing between the scenes where they just sat down talking, and usually that's where all the characterization comes in, where the exposition comes in, and then we just get an action scene where we're just focusing on the action. I wish they just intertwined a bit more. They intertwined the exposition and the characterization within the action, and it would have made the movie move at a much better momentum instead of feeling a bit choppy. But the pacing did move and at least kept your attention. The third act was quite a CGI heavy sort of temple, sort of final battle, but I didn't mind it at all. It was a decent way to end the film. This film has no interest in big emotions or something that's going to challenge you mentally or anything like that. Don't expect anything like that with Jungle Cruise, or don't expect a children's film, a family movie that goes above and beyond. This is a very basic, generic film. Nothing much of interest or new happens within this. It's very simple, but it kind of works, and it kind of provides the summer entertainment you need. Not poorly made entertainment, decently made entertainment that will be fun for families with a solid cast. You probably won't remember this movie, but you'll probably have a good time while watching it because I did enjoy it while it was on. So it gets a positive from me, but just barely. I enjoyed it, and I think it is worth a watch, and it's not really as bad as I thought it was going to be at all. So I'm going to give Jungle Cruise a B-. I'm also going to give this movie a 63%. Let me know what you thought of Jungle Cruise if you've seen it in the comments down below. I do also have a letterboxd with loads of other movie reviews and thoughts on movies on there, so check out that if you want. And of course, thanks for watching, and goodbye.